From Hollywood. Welcome to the Rat's Ass Podcast with Mojo Elliott.
All right, the weekend is officially over. Welcome back to reality. And I'm back with another action-packed adventure. Now, I do have to admit that, I got caught on the kiss cam Saturday night at the Dodger game. The embarrassing part was I was alone and had to kiss myself. But I'm not going to tell you where.
Loser.
Let you use your imagination. All right, here's what's on tap on the wrap. Have we got some Obama drama cooking? The truth about government-run grocery stores that you need to hear. There's more fallout over the Coldplay Kiss Cam we'll rap about. And what state has the worst tippers? Because there is a common theme that runs through all the data that will astonish you. And are you yay Indians and Redskins, or are you nay Indians and Redskins? We're going to get into it. Another round of head trauma is on the way. Today, you get to pick your news. Plus our usual lunacy and loose behavior, including Saw It on the X. That's what's coming up today on the Rat's Ass Podcast for Monday, July 21st. Thanks for being here and starting your week with us. All right, Rat Nation now has 411 members. Anyone can sign up now, but when we hit that magical number of 1,000, you have to qualify to be one of the few and the loud. So get in there while you can, including those of you in the resistance who email us and haven't joined yet. Radio Awards continues this week. We're going to be halfway through round one by Thursday, and right now it's WGXL in Tampa, WSFR in Louisville. Louisville, that's right, you got to swallow it. You got to go Louisville. It's not Louisville, it's Louisville. Just like Illinois. It's Illinois when you look at it, but it's really Illinois. Yeah, craziness, just craziness. All right, this week's top 10 new rock videos are posted on the Rat's Ass Rock TV. Go check those out. We got a couple of new tunes up there. And don't forget about our new movement to save the Democratic Party called Hail America Now. Step right up to the altar and we're going to heal America now. We're going to save the Democratic Party. We're going to save their souls, bring them back to reality, clear them of that nasty Trump derangement syndrome. Go check it out at ratsasspodcast.com for all the details. All right, I almost had a man on the street hired to interact with people on the hot topics of the day because we were asked, are you ever going to go live on TikTok or YouTube? And we said, highly unlikely unless we find something interesting. Now, on the radio, I always had a guy on the street, a stunt guy who would do crazy stuff and would interact, mix and mangle with listeners, and it was always fun. We just never put it on video, obviously. It was always caught on tape. But now we can put it on video and you get to see it live. And I thought, well, it might be fun to do this and not edit it so it looks sharp. You get to see the real deal. Most people who do this, they all cut it up so it favors whatever narrative that they want to push. We don't want to push a narrative. So I thought the fun part would be is to send somebody out, interact with people, get their real response, real time. Thought I had a guy ready to rock and roll with this, but the dude weaseled out. Just weaseled out. He was, yeah, I want to do it. And his name was Eddie Wong. 20-year-old guy, very approachable guy, not afraid to approach, I don't think, but you need somebody who has cojones to do that because you're approaching strangers. But anyway, he was a student at UCLA, seemed to be a pretty sharp guy, but he said no, turned down the gig. And I think it was because he didn't like the nickname that we gave him. Now, everybody that's involved with the Rat's Ass Podcast gets a nickname. And when I told him...
Now, on your Delta Falcon name is...
Watts, W-A-T-T-S, I think he got offended. I mean, what's wrong with what's wrong? But I think he got offended by it. All right, let's get into the wrap here. The U.S. Director of Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, dropped a bomb on Friday. After reviewing the Russia collusion file, she is convinced Barack Obama and his intelligence team cooked up the entire Russia scheme to enact a coup against President Trump before he got elected, or before he took office in 2016. And then they carried the schmear out over the 4 years he was president. Crazy 4 years from 2016 to 2020. So Tulsi is recommending Obama and his hit squad that includes Hillary Clinton be prosecuted on charges of treason. Treason with reason. But here's the deal. Guess what, folks? Guess what? Here comes another investigation by the DOJ that will lead to absolutely nothing happening. Don't look for it. Here's what you have to be happy about. They're just going to make these people's lives miserable. And you can take solace in that because that's all that's going to happen. That's all that's going to happen. All right, let's talk briefly about government-run grocery stores, shall we? Because this is what Laurent Turdsauce Mamdani wants to create in New York City if he's elected mayor. Now, the Democrats are saying, well, Florida and Kansas have them. But what they don't tell you is who the clientele is. People who get food stamps, government assistance. That's who uses those stores, because in those cities, in those states, what they don't tell you is that they also have a real grocery store like Kroger, Costco, Whole Paycheck. Those states, too, have real grocery stores. New York would not. If Mamdani gets his way, every grocery store in New York City will be government-ran. So let me put this picture into your head, because the Democrats are going to make you feel like you're going the Whole Paycheck and it's government-run. Do you shop for groceries at the dollar store? Think about that. Because that's what it's going to be like. You're going to be forced to go to the dollar store to shop for your groceries, except it's going to be worse. I am so sorry that I had to burst your bubble about steak night.
I tell you, this steak still has marks where the jockey was hitting it.
All right, the Coldplay Kiss Cam was on just about everyone's lips over the weekend. Now, the fallout is Andy Byron has resigned as CEO of Astronomer. He's no longer there. But no word on what's next for Kristen Cabot. Does she still have her cushy HR job? Because she was probably now the victim of Andy's advances. That's probably what they're going to shape this like. But Coldplay is also now warning the audience before they do the Kiss Cam. They got a lot of publicity over this, and still nobody's downloading their music. But so I guess they figured, hey, let's avoid maybe some lawsuits here and tell everybody that, hey, Kiss Cam coming. Kiss Cam coming. Kiss Cam is coming. All right, even some Major League Baseball parks, like I said, resumed the Kiss Cam over the weekend. And there were a slew of TikTok videos on social media as well, YouTube, everything, all talking about the Kiss Cam. In fact, I'm just as guilty. I posted one on the Rat's Ass Podcast Facebook page and on X. You can check it out at ratsasspodcast.com if you want to. Click on the Facebook icon link on the Facebook page. It's all you got to do, and you check it out. What states have the worst tippers? If you make a living and part of your wages are tips, you really got to listen to this, because here are the top 3 states, and I don't think you're going to be surprised who these 3 states are, known for bad tipping. Number 3, New York City. I bet you thought it was number 1, but no, it's number 3, followed by New Jersey. Then at number 1, who's your buddy? Who's your pal? It's California. Now, the theme running through all of this data of the worst tippers, they're all blue states. And let's face it, they're also the highest tax states. Okay, so people don't really have all that, income that they can, add a couple extra percentage points to your tax or to your tips. Now, I went to lunch with a friend on Saturday before we went out to the ball game. And the bill came to $75. Now, we're talking about an order of fish and chips for each of us and a couple of ice-cold light beers. That's one each. No dessert, $75. The tip was $15 on 20% because the waiter was really good at his job. So we ended up the 20%. We split a $90 check for fish and chips and a beer each. My God. Now, you could say because the tabs are higher here, that if you work in California, New York, and New Jersey, even if the minimum tip is 15% per patron, you might make more money in a blue state. But sure, your rent's going to be higher and you'll have cockroaches for roommates. But hey, there's always a trade-off.
You better start paying me what I'm worth.
Say what?
Here is Mojo Elliott with Rat Sports.
I think what Alex is alluding to is the WNBA players walked out on the court to warm up for the WNBA All-Star Game wearing shirts that said, "Pay us what we're worth." Now, this started a heated debate on social media, along with the Kiss Cam, but essentially, the WNBA players went NBA player-type money. And who can blame them? I want a yacht full of models that look like Margot Robbie, too. Doesn't mean I'm going to get them. But look, here's the deal. The average WNBA player earns just over $147,000 a year. And players who have endorsements are getting paid well. Caitlin Clark, believe me, she's getting paid well. Angel Reese, getting paid well. They're millionaires, okay? But they play a 44-game schedule, not 82 like the NBA. They make about $3,300 a game on average. Now, I don't care if the league makes money or loses money. Doesn't matter. Take that out of the equation. What should determine if these ladies make NBA dollars is this. Let's take the 5 best WNBA players and pit them against the 5 best NBA players. And if the women dust them, if the women dust the men, they get equal pay. Let's make it interesting. But if not, here's what's going to happen. There is a number the players want, and a number the owners are willing to pay. Let the negotiations begin, because that's where we're at. Everything in between is just turd sauce. All right, President Trump is urging the Washington Commanders and the Cleveland Guardians to change their names back to the Washington Redskins and Cleveland Indians. The cost will be into the millions for these teams to do this, so do you think they'll do it? I think they should. I mean, there's tradition with those teams. There's no tradition with the Commanders or the Guardians. I mean, they tie in with the names of the cities. But do you think the teams will invest in this, knowing that if a Democrat ever gets back in power, it's going to be back, you got to change those names. They're offensive. I already saw some people, some of the NFL insiders saying that, oh, it's so offensive to go back to Redskins and Indians. But if you ask people that are actually, people who live in tribes, live their lives that way, they've been forgotten about. Nobody talks about them. They're not honored anymore. They kind of look at it as a badge of honor. Now, I'm sure there's there's always somebody who's offended by something. But I think the general consensus is in the masses that they're not bothered by the Redskins and Indians names. If I'm wrong, I'll spank myself. But I'll bet my third nut they won't do it. The veterans report this week for NFL training camp. We're just 10 days away from the NFL Hall of Fame game on July 31st. Guess who's playing? The Los Angeles Chargers and Detroit Lions. I can't wait to see how the Detroit Lions rebound this season. I mean, last year they looked like they were going to walk through the Super Bowl and didn't even make it. So I'm kind of curious to see where they go. Also, somewhat about the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, second year, he usually has teams winning 10 to 14 games, 10, 13 games. Are the Chargers that good? They might be. We'll see. All right, that is sports on the Wrap.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
All right, today you get to pick your news. I'm going to give you 4 news headlines, and you have to determine which one is false today. Which one is false? All right, headline 1, the U.S. military considers housing illegal immigrants at installations around the United States. Headline 2, the DOJ recommends Americans pay to see copies of the Epstein file. Headline 3, Laurent Mamdani plans to visit Africa in the midst of his run for mayor of New York City. No comment. We're playing a game. No comment. All right, the Biden administration sent $1 million to Russia and Iraq to upgrade embassy swimming pools. All right, take a while and think about it. I'll have the answer for you coming up on the podcast.
It's time for some loose behavior on the Rat's Ass Podcast.
There's something funny going on with my fingering here. All right, let's get into what's happening on the Rat's Ass Podcast X feed. We call it Saw It on the X. Sometimes when you touch things, other things happen. It's mind-boggling. All right, anyway, the actor James Woods posted this. He said, name something you should never run out of, and James said ammo. James, a great actor. If you don't follow him on X, I highly recommend it. He's very entertaining, and he has some very interesting thoughts. All right, Jeremy Muldoon said, you should never run out of a wedding, whether you're the bride or the groom. I think that's true. You don't want to put your parents all that expense and then just run out the door and say, I can't do it. Kimberly Goldman said, I'm Jewish and I'm just going to say it. Bacon. I would say Kimberly's not Jewish at all, at least not anymore. Ed English said, poontang. That's what it says. You should never run out of poontang. I don't disagree, Ed, but it's not just poontang, buddy. It's wang dang sweet poontang. And there is a difference. I'm told it's the asparagus.
Hey, heads up. Here comes your celebrity cheese.
All right, did you see where a whip, yes, a whip, used in the movie Indiana Jones went for $525,000 at auction? And a Citizen Kane Rosebud sled. I don't know what makes it a Rosebud sled, but it went for $14.5 million. Now, it made me wonder, how much could Sean Diddy Combs get at auction for his collection of 764 dildos? Or would he just sell them one at a time and make more money? And what would a certificate of authenticity look like? Would it say, Used by J-Lo? Used by Beyonce? What did it say? Used by Kevin Hart? I'd like to see those certificates. If he did sell them, I think he's going to hang on to them because I think he's going to get off and have a further use for those ding-dongs, the fake Ds. All right, here's a juicy nugget to get your mind off the kiss cam. Gwyneth Paltrow has a new book called Gwyneth, the Biography, and in it she gives explicit details about her favorite sex act with ex Ben Affleck. Now, page 6 would not reveal the name of the act, but alluded to Ben's love of dunking. So one can surmise we're talking about teabagging. Put this picture in your head. Imagine Gwyneth laying on her back, mouth wide open. And here comes Ben, beep, 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 dropping his hairy nutsack in her pie hole. Or I guess we can call it her nut hole now.
That's just about enough of that.
Selena Gomez threw herself a 70s Saturday Night Fever-themed birthday bash over the weekend. I bet that was fun. She actually turns 33 on Wednesday. Now, Selena is engaged to marry the, I don't know if he's a singer, if he's a DJ, but he goes by Bad Bunny. The nuptials are coming up this September if they make it. But here's the real shocker. The real shocker. Guess who showed up at the party? Somebody you would least expect. Taylor Swift. Yeah, the fake news, the entertainment news, the rag mags, they like to play you like a puppet. They got you believing that they hate each other, but Tay-Tay shows up at the birthday party. She was solo because her boyfriend Travis Kelce was busy playing tight end. All right, Motley Crue drummer Tommy Lee posted a big FU photo on Instagram announcing that the fake news organizations, the rag mags, that he and his wife Brittany Ferlin are still together and not separated or divorced as previously reported. So what Tommy means is that he and Brittany are still living the wild side, home sweet home, and getting fixed up from Dr. Feelgood. Yes. And in case you've lost track, Britney Spears has now been single for 152 days.
Give us a right side.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Email from our Gmail.
All right, as you know, I do not read your email in advance. My producer, Fleabag, forwards me your name, where you're from, and rewrites them so I can read them rapid fire and on the fly. No topic is off the table. It's impossible to offend me, too, so bring it all on. All right, Raleigh B. in the Garden Grove, California, said, do you know your style of humor scares the hell out of a lot of people under 40? I don't know if it scares the hell out of them. Some people might get offended by it, Raleigh, but, I think in the masses, we're talking about the little rectums who grew up with South Park and Bob's Burgers. I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying it. There's always somebody who's offended by something, and I think they're in the minority and not the majority. All right, Roberta James, Mesa, Arizona said, can I tell all the streaming assholes to stop raising their rates? I'm sick of this bullshit, and most of the programming is shit. I'd say Roberta's Fleabag. Did you write that verbatim? You did? Okay. I'd say Roberta is a little PO'd. Because word did come down last week that the Peacock Network is jumping rates by $3 a month. $3 a month, $36 a year on you. And you still got to watch the damn ads. God, it brings back the days when we used to bitch and complain about cable and satellite. Oh, the good old days. All right, Cal T, Las Vegas, Nevada. Last Friday night, I met two chicks at Circus Circus. All right, you know what this calls for. I can feel that it's going to be good already. Let's read on. Cal said, we got a room, and we all had hot buck-naked sex all night until they fell asleep. And in honor of the young man who lost $400 a couple of weeks ago, I took their purses. And all I got was $75 and lipstick and a half-eaten Baby Ruth. Are you sure it was a Baby Ruth, though, Cal? All right, Brad D. in Memphis, Tennessee said, I've been dating this girl for about 3 months, and I'm thinking about asking her to move in with me. Do you think 3 months is too soon? Oh, God, Brad, yes. You got to wait at least 4. But no, seriously, go ahead and ask her. What have you got to lose? If she says yes, you're going to be a ding-dong daddy. If not, you just wait until she's ready. It's that simple. So ask her, because no woman wants to pay for their own rent. Believe you me. All right, Leo W., Anaheim, California, said, what do you think about the Lakers picking up Marcus Smart? If we got him, I say we, like I am part of the Laker organization. If the Lakers got him 3 years ago, I'd be going rah, shish, boom, bah. But last season, he averaged 8 points. This season, 9. Okay, now I think he makes up for the defense. The Lakers lost when Dorian Finney-Smith took his ball and went to Houston. And my God, who goes to Houston from Los Angeles, for crying out loud? Maybe he hasn't toured Houston compared to L.A., or maybe it's too expensive for him. But the bottom line is, let's see what he does. Maybe he'll be reinvigorated like Ayton is. We'll see. But I think it's a good deal. I mean, when you look at who was available, and he's had 2 or 3 years removed from the Celtics, so I can accept it. We'll see how he does. All right, Mia L., Toronto, Canada, said, I really enjoyed your article on the Mount Rushmore of rock. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that, Mia. You can go check that out, by the way, too, on the blog at ratsasspodcast.com. But she says, I got to take issue with Keith Richards being absent from your list of guitar players. I would put him in over Angus Young. But I don't disagree with Jimmy Page, Alex Lifeson, and Eddie Van Halen. Hey, you can't be from Canada and not agree with Alex Lifeson on my list. Because I had Jimmy Page, Alex Lifeson, and Eddie Van Halen, and Angus. But, I couldn't put Keith Richards in my top 4. I'd put him in the top 10. I mean, he's done it for a long time. He has written a lot of great music. Can't sing for shit, but... I would actually take Carlos Santana, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and David Gilmour of Pink Floyd before Keith. But hey, it's all subjective anyway, right? All right, if you have any questions, observations, or comments, send them to my producer, Fleabag, at ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. The more outrageous and salacious, the better. All right, are you ready to get some answers? Are you ready for some answers?
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
I'm going to have to get some WD-40 on my buttons. All right, today, you get to pick your news. I gave you 4 news headlines, and you got to determine which one is false today. Which one is false? All right, the U.S. military considers housing illegal immigrants at installations around the United States. Headline 2, the DOJ recommends Americans pay to see copies of the Epstein file. Headline 3, Laurent Mondami plans to visit Africa in the midst of his run for mayor of New York City. And the Biden administration sent $1 million to Russia and Iraq to upgrade embassy swimming pools. Now, that was the U.S. Embassy, but they still sent $1 million over there to do that. All right, which one's false? Which one is false? If you said the DOJ recommends Americans pay to see copies of the Epstein file.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
You're right. But if you missed it, go see a doctor and about your head trauma and get well soon. All right, I got to run. I'm looking at my time. It's like, God, I gotta go. Actually, I'm starting a Kiss Cam rental service because you got to strike when the iron's hot. But I do need to get the word out. But I do have one more thing for you, like I always do. Did you know there is a mathematical equation that can accurately, they say 90%, accurately determine whether a marriage is going to work or not, or will end up in divorce? I think you call that a bank account balance.
What's your bank account balance?
You want to take a guess? Ms. Alexa? Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to be smart on all things AI. What do you think?
I bet you don't have 2 nickels to rub together, podcaster.
Oh, boy. Okay, you're going to call me a podcaster like it's a bad thing? And 2 nickels? You're going to try to goat me into telling you what my bank account is? You want me to spill it, Alexa?
Okay, I'm going to say $1.380 podcaster.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah, it's a good answer. You just never ask Alexa what frickin' time it is.
It's 1/2 the monkey's butt and 1/4 till his balls. How
See?
about those shout-outs to Rat Nation podcaster?
Oh, God. What's with podcaster today? God bless. All right, okay. Welcome to Rat Nation. She's always in a mood on Monday. Moody Monday, Alexa. All right, Rick Smith, Cambridge, Ohio, Vince Clevenger in Alameda, California, and Karen Paul in Flagstaff, Arizona. I don't know why that popped in. To the Resistance, those of you who email us but haven't joined Rat Nation yet, Ray K. Really? Ray K? Arlington, Virginia. Hey, my name is Ray K. Michaela Y. Yeah, Michaela, why haven't you joined Rat Nation? Orlando, Florida, and Max B in Idaho Falls. I know I'm not supposed to make fun of names. It's where I get into trouble all the time, right? Right? Watts Wong. And around the world to listeners in Varna, Bulgaria, Georgetown, Cayman Islands, and Cloney, Ireland.
Now's your chance to be one of the few and the loud. Join Rat Nation at ratsasspodcast.com. Membership does have its rewards, you know.
Sure does. It sure enough does have them rewards. All right, that's it for this episode of the Rat's Ass Podcast. Be sure to check out the ratsasspodcast.com to connect with us on the socials. Listen to podcasts, join Rat Nation, rock out on Rat's Ass Rock TV, and read the blog. It is loaded with all kinds of mindless dipshittery that I promise you won't give a rat's ass about. Because it's all about the experience. It's everything included. We'll do this again on Wednesday, July 23rd. Take care of each other, and thanks for dropping by the Rat's Ass Podcast.
The conversation continues between podcasts on X and ratsasspodcast.com. ratsasspodcast.com.